Most people do exactly the things in their gardens that are slowly destroying the soil. And in this video, I'll show you how to avoid that. Let's take a closer look at why that is. They dig it up, chop away weeds, water constantly, add fertilizer, and then wonder why the soil needs more work every year. But what if that is exactly the mistake? I had read about the one straw revolution, but what I saw here should probably be called the one hay revolution. A hay revolution, or even simpler, elementary farming. Because something happens here that almost sounds absurd: a garden without digging, without an irrigation system, without a war on weeds, without fertilizer, and yet food grows there. The question is not, can this work? The question is, why aren't we already doing it? In the hills of northern Italy, we visited Lorenzo Carvaglio. After that, I saw gardening differently. Lorenzo doesn't do a little bit of mulch. He builds a system that almost supports itself. Stay with me. Because the decisive thing is not the hay. The hay is only what you can see. What is really happening lies underneath. Lorenzo knew the problems of many gardeners: heat, drought, weeds, hard soils. The classic solution: loosen, weed, water, fertilize, control. He did the opposite. He did not touch the soil. He left plant residues where they were. He covered the ground with a thick layer of hay, and he stopped working against nature. For many people, that sounds wrong at first, because we have learned a garden has to look clean, soil has to be visible, weeds have to go, plants need space, and when it is dry, you have to water. But in Lorenzo's garden, everything looks different. The plants grow densely. The soil is almost nowhere to be seen. Between vegetables, herbs, and wild plants, hay is everywhere. Not scattered thinly, not decorative, but really thick, 20 centimeters, sometimes more. And this is exactly where the misunderstanding begins. Many people think of mulch as some straw, leaves, or grass clippings, but Lorenzo is talking about a living blanket, not made of straw, but of hay. And that difference is crucial. Straw often comes from monoculture, uniform, dry, empty. Hay, on the other hand, is diversity. It contains grasses, leaves, flowers, seeds, fine and coarse fibers. It does not simply smell like dry material. It has a bouquet. And exactly this diversity later becomes food for the soil. While others fight against drought, the opposite happens for him. The soil stays cool. The moisture does not disappear. The soil life stays active. The plants grow even though they are not watered constantly. And all of that without a classic irrigation system. So what is really behind it? The first part is simple: protection. Bare soil is exposed. Sun, wind, rain, and heat attack it directly. A thick layer of hay changes everything. It acts like a blanket. It cools, slows down rain, prevents evaporation, and turns bare soil into a protected space. This is not a trick. This is physics. Lift a stone on a hot day. Underneath, it is often moist not because of watering, but because of protection. That is exactly what the hay does. But that is only the surface. Under the layer of hay, something much more interesting is happening. Because soil is not dead material. It is a habitat. Bacteria, fungi, worms, larvae, and countless tiny organisms live there. They dig tunnels, break down plant residues, and turn soil into a breathing system. When you constantly dig up the soil, you destroy this exact order again and again. It is as if you tore down a house every year and then wondered why nobody stays. Lorenzo's method does the opposite. It leaves the soil alone. It feeds it from above, and it protects the life underneath. The hay slowly breaks down. It is decomposed by microorganisms. It becomes humus. And humus is not simply good soil. It stores water, nutrients, and life. Lorenzo's point: the soil does not constantly need water from the outside. It has to be allowed to keep what is already there. And now it gets interesting. Because moisture does not only come from rain or watering. Living beings are largely made of water. When microorganisms, roots, or small soil creatures die, this water is released again. Other organisms take it up. Plant roots use it. The system keeps it in circulation. Of course, that does not mean a garden never needs water, no matter where and no matter when. But it means a living, covered soil works completely differently from a bare, overheated soil. And this is exactly where the big misconception of modern gardening lies. We often treat soil like a container, fertilizer in, water in, plant in. But soil is not a container. Soil is an organism, or more precisely, a network of organisms. And when this network works, it takes over tasks for which we otherwise need machines, hoses, fertilizer, and a lot of labor. Now, many things make sense. He does not dig because he wants to protect structure. He does not weed radically because plant residues are part of the cycle. He uses hay instead of straw because hay brings diversity. And he barely waters because moisture stays in the system. And why are the plants so dense? Because the soil is not treated like an empty surface, but like a living ecosystem. This is not new. In the past, this was normal. Leaves, grass, manure, hay, compost, everything remained part of the cycle. Then came a different idea. More control, more machines, more chemical inputs, more standardization. Agriculture became more predictable, faster, more scalable, but also more dependent. Because a system that needs fertilizer every year sells fertilizer. A system that needs soil cultivation every year sells machines. A system that creates problems every year sells solutions. A soil that maintains itself is economically inconvenient. Not because nobody can earn money from it, but because it needs less. And maybe that is exactly why methods like this often feel like fringe knowledge. If you want to test this method, it is surprisingly simple, but not arbitrary. Step 1. Do not dig, do not turn, do not clean up. Step 2. Cover the soil with hay, not thin, but thick, about 20 centimeters, and at the beginning, better too much than too little. Step 3. Plant directly into this blanket. You open a nest in the hay, go down to the soil, put the seedling in, press it down, and put the hay back. Do not bury it. Do not clear everything away first. Do not leave the soil exposed. The seedling gets water once to help it establish. Then the system is supposed to work. With sowing, it is similar. You open the mulch, place the seed flat in the soil, cover it lightly, and protect the spot again. Often, that is all it takes. But one detail decides whether it works or not. The mulch layer has to be maintained. Hay settles through rain, moisture, and soil life. What was 20 centimeters in the beginning can later be only 5, and then the system loses its protection. That is one of the most common mistakes. Too little hay, too thin a layer, too many open spots, too much impatience. Another mistake, wanting to control everything immediately. Every blade of grass out. Remove every stone, order every surface. Lorenzo does not do that. Stones stay because they create microclimates. Plant residues stay because they become food. Wild growth is not seen as the enemy, but as part of the system as long as it does not crowd out the cultivated plants. That does not mean chaos, it means a different order. An order that is not imposed from above but emerges from the soil. Many who start like this mainly see change in the first year. The soil becomes moister, the surface becomes darker, more worms appear, plants respond more steadily to heat. The big difference often appears later, in the second year, in the third year. Suddenly, the garden needs fewer interventions, the soil opens more easily, seedlings establish better, dry spells are less dramatic, and the garden no longer feels like a fight. That is exactly what impressed me so much about Lorenzo's garden. Not just the plants or the method, the attitude. No heavy labor, no fight against the soil, no constant intervention. Instead, observe, protect, feed, be patient. Water is getting more expensive, and so is fertilizer. Summers are getting hotter, soils are losing humus, and at the same time, we throw away exactly what could rebuild soils: grass, leaves, plant residues, organic material. Maybe the future is not about adding more and more to the soil. Maybe it is about finally stopping taking things away from it all the time. Because if a garden can become fertile without digging, without constant irrigation, and without fertilizer, then this is not a small gardening technique. Then it is a different way of thinking. The question is not whether soil can live. The question is, what would you change if you knew your soil could take care of itself?